Welcome to First Issues. So you're in your 20s. Most probably your income is either the government allowance or you've just started out in your career. You're doing well at school or are on the right track to a satisfactory career path. But have you given much thought to how you can manage your finances, no matter how small you think your income is? Well, this might be the right time to start thinking about how you can manage your finances better to avoid regretting not doing so later in life. It just so happens that a study by online publisher Money states that more than 80% of Americans have some financial regrets that range from not saving enough when they were younger to not setting up emergency funds early on. And this is just in America. What of the rest of the world? This is where we come in to help you as a young person to avoid some of these regrets. We're having a conversation with financial planner at Ignyte Wealth Seatla Ratshosa about some mistakes you can avoid in your 20s to help you build a financially secure future for yourself. Seatla, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We're here to talk to you about the many mistakes that people in their early 20s make. So in your expertise, if I may, what are those mistakes that you think people in that age group should be avoiding like the plague?
Yes, and thank you so much for having me. I think when you are young, you really have so many opportunities to look forward to. I mean, what I have seen through experience and also observing how young people do things, a lot of young people like to lock themselves in with long-term assets when they're really young. You know, when you are in your early 20s, you are probably looking at trying to accelerate your career. You know, you are trying to try out things. You know, when there are opportunities in Kasani, you have to be able to move. When there are opportunities in South Africa, you have to be able to move. So what they normally do is, when they start, they want to buy a property, and then property becomes their baby, and then they can't move. Every decision they make for that particular property. Other mistakes that a lot of young people make is to buy, your consumable type of goods using debt. Right? They buy TVs, they buy fridges, using debt. And before you know it, now they are acquiring debt to try and create a certain lifestyle for themselves. By the time they realize that all of those debts have not worked for them, it's a bit too late. And then they become so desperate to keep their jobs. They can't change jobs. They can't move on to other opportunities because now they're trying to fulfill their obligation for the debt, right? And so I always encourage young people to say, look, between 20 and 30 or between 20 and 40, really, try as much as possible to push your career, because remember, a lot of our people, we come from poor backgrounds, and most of us are the first ones to try to create some form of wealth. We don't have trust funds. So you need at least 20 years to really be working hard, chasing every opportunity that is there, spending most of your money on learning, capacitating yourself, so that in your late 40s, then opportunities are just coming to you.
But they're still young people, and being young means for a lot of people a good time, right? But how do you then draw the balance between, chasing that career goal and accumulating whatever experience that you need to so that you build your wealth in the future, and then having a good time, and then also having those assets, the nice fridge, the nice television, the nice car sometimes?
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing all of those things. I think the mistake we make is to allocate more time to the fun, to the fun way of living. And I think a lot of young people, they allocate most of their time to having fun. They call it work-life balance, but In actual fact, they spend more money, they spend more time trying to refresh, trying to have fun, right? But what they should be doing and what they need to understand is that the best times to be alive and to be having good resources and to be having good fun is in your early 40s, late 40s, not when you are young. Because really when you are young, you are just trying to waste yourself. You still have a lot of energy. That energy needs to be converted to things that can actually generate some form of wealth. Later on, during your time, when you get into your 40s, you don't have that energy anymore. There are younger people than you who are coming with fresher ideas, more technologically advanced. So you don't want to be at that stage and you don't have the resources. So having fun, it's nice, but it needs to be allocated a small amount of time. 5%, 10% is enough. I mean, how much time do you need really to go on leave? Right, a day or two is enough for you to refresh and get back to work. But I see a lot of young people, they waste most of their time playing. They spend most of their time trying to have fun. And fun comes with an acquisition of certain assets that can actually help you to enjoy the fun, right? You'll get an apartment you don't need because you want your friends to visit you and see you living lavishly, right? You need to buy a car that will wow your friends, right? You need to go to certain places that will impress your friends and your community, right? You start doing all of these things. It becomes your life. Now you work towards making sure that all of these things are addressed. But these things, they don't create wealth at all. And our emphasis has always been wealth creation. For us, we speak to people not to just budget and get through a month. For us, it's all about wealth creation. How much are you going to be having in 40 years' time? Which assets are you going to be having, right? How much passive income will you be making over that period? And it takes time. That's why we are saying at least 20 years. You have to be a lot more focused on attaining all of those things.
We pick up this conversation again next time when Seatla speaks of the opportunities that young people in their 20s should look into in preparation for a sound financial future. For now, stay tuned to First Issues.